Hi, this is NASCAR driver Brad Keselowski, and you're watching Cup Connection.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Massaro, and welcome to Cup Connection. Well, talk about a change of pace. The Cup Series now transitions from the shortest track on the schedule to the longest, from Martinsville to Talladega. Coming up, we'll talk with the driver who has the most Talladega wins amongst active drivers. Hear why Brad Keselowski says he's been so good there, and why it could be the place where he gets his first win for RFK Racing. But first, let's look back to Martinsville. A late race caution really shook things up with a lot of pit strategy, but not surprisingly, Hendrick Motorsports came out on top. As an organization, HMS has now won 28 times at Martinsville with 9 different drivers. This time, it was Kyle Larson. And over the last 3 seasons, no one has visited victory lane more than him. It was his 21st career win, and he's now won 15 times since the beginning of 2021. Joining us now is the most recent winner on the Cup Series, the guy who picked up the victory in Martinsville, Kyle Larson. Kyle, hey, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
All right, so I got to know, what'd you do with the clock? Where is it?
I don't even know where it's at. I think it's still boxed up at Hendrick Motorsports somewhere. So I've honestly been too busy to even walk around my house and see where I can put it. But it'll probably just end up going to my trophy room, I'm guessing, at my race shop. And until someday when I hopefully have designed a better room for all my stuff.
Well, we talked to Rusty Wallace last week, who's got quite a few of those. He says they're all in the Hall of Fame. Maybe that's where they should end up. Who knows? Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about the race. So, interesting race. It seemed like pit strategy there at the end when that late caution came out really shook things up. You guys took 2 tires. Was that the difference for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think, well, that was one of the important calls. I think there was 2 important pit strategy calls in a row. We had that long green flag run and then green flag stops, and you were able to stay on the lead lap before that caution came out for the 78's wheel. And then we decided to stay out right there. And that was one big moment. We lined up on the front row, settled into second. And then I think we had the last caution with like 40 laps to go or so. And that's when, my team decided to do right side tires. And that kind of surprised me a little bit, but I was obviously happy about it in the end. And yeah, we had enough grip on 2 tires, probably the best grip I had all race, and was able to drive by them guys and stretch away for the win.
Why did it surprise you?
The call or
Yeah.
the grip? Just because, it worked last year, I guess. We took 2 and ended up second. But I just thought with how many laps were left, I think we had almost 40 laps left. There was 4 cars that had stayed out in front of me, 4 or 5 cars maybe. And, I had 4 tires with Chase Briscoe lined up right next to me or behind me. So I just didn't expect myself to be able to drive to the front as easily as I did. So I kind of thought that I was in a bad spot maybe, or potentially, with where I was at and where other people were lined up around me. But for whatever reason, our car fired off really good that run and was able to drive away and get my tires held on fine too.
Yeah, they did. There was some conversation after the race. I think Denny Hamlin was the one who really said something about needing more horsepower at Martinsville. What do you think?
Yeah, I would love to have more horsepower at every racetrack, but I'm just a driver, Yeah, I'm just a driver though. I don't know the ins and outs of the business, the cost of everything, the time frame it takes to plan ahead for something like that change. So but yeah, selfishly, if we could put more horsepower in it tomorrow, I would say let's do it. But I don't know. I also don't know if that's the answer. I think it would help, but I don't know if that's the full answer.
All right. It's just remarkable what Hendrick Motorsports has been able to do at Martinsville. It just blows me away. 28 victories, 9 different drivers. How much of an emphasis does Hendrick place on that racetrack?
I don't know. I feel like they put a lot of emphasis on every single race. So I don't think that they put any more on Martinsville. I just think that they've got package, that they understand, the geometry of the suspension and everything of what it takes to be fast around there. I think you've seen that now through out so many different generations of race car that they're still super competitive in one of their best tracks. So is Martinsville. So yeah, but I don't think they put any more, emphasis on Martinsville than we do going to Talladega this weekend.
Okay, fair enough. I believe that. And the proof is in the pudding. They've now got 295 victories. They haven't all come at Martinsville, obviously. They've come all over the place. 5 wins away from 300. Put that in perspective. I mean, that's obviously a very difficult thing to do. What do you think of that they've been able to put together that many wins, and you've got a good portion of them yourself?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think Rick he's a great person and a great leader, and everybody enjoys working for him. So I think that's kind of where the success stems from, is just directly from him and his work ethic. And everybody wants to make him proud. And I think that shows, and the results come with that. So yeah, 295 is pretty amazing. I was fortunate enough to get, 269, which broke that record with Richard Petty. And it's amazing to think that we're already we have an organization have won so many races since, that win at Charlotte in 2021. And, we're on pace now to definitely get to 300, hopefully here in the next, couple months or few months. But, and selfishly, I think all of us would want to be that guy to get Rick that number 300. But I'm thankful to be a part of such a great organization and get to drive awesome race cars and get to be a part of the legacy that is Hendrick Motorsports.
You kind of alluded to my next question there. How much internal pride would there be for, any one of you guys getting that number 300? Any one of you could.
I mean, definitely. I think, even the 269 win, I don't think any of us drivers talked about the pressure, not really pressure, but, how we all probably had 269 circled to be the one to do it. And, thankfully I was able to do it and get to, celebrate, I guess, with Rick. So I would love to be able to give him 269 and also 300, but I'm going to be happy for the team no matter what, or no matter which one of us four get it done. So, and I think that's the way it should be.
All right. So it's already been a big week for you. Not only did you win in Martinsville, but you were recognized by NASCAR as being one of the 75 greatest drivers. What's that mean to you?
Well, it means a ton. I feel like I'm really early still in my career. And honestly, I was surprised to be a part of that top 75, just because I felt like, I don't know, there were just a lot of others that have done more than I have. But, I recently, pulled up the all-time wins list in NASCAR Cup Series, and I've won a fair amount of races. So I'm like, well, shoot, I guess I've accomplished more than I really thought I have. And so maybe I'm deserving, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot left to accomplish, and being a part of a list like that right now feels weird at 30 years old. So, but it also just shows, I think really how strong that 2021 season was, and kind of where that season kind of ranks in the history of NASCAR.
Yeah, 10 wins, just remarkable. I mean, when you look at the list of drivers who've been able to put together, a season where they've had 10 or more wins, it's a very, very short list. In one year.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it was amazing. It was a year that I hope someday I can have another season like that. But to win 10 races plus the All-Star race that year, is just spectacular. And I feel like our cars are good enough this year. We could maybe go on a run like that, but it's really tough.
All right. So next up, you go from the shortest track on the schedule to the longest track on the schedule, a much different style of racing in Talladega. What's on your mind as you go there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about this weekend. I get to run the dirt car across the street for the first time ever. So I'm excited about that. And then also, racing the Cup race on Sunday, I feel like is a great opportunity for everybody to get a win. So I think the whole field kind of gets excited about going to Talladega because you feel like you have a shot. So, although I haven't had the best luck on super speedways and have found myself caught up in a lot of crashes, I still, am energized to get there because I know if I can make a couple right decisions, I can position myself in a good spot and ultimately, at least contend for wins. So I know Hendrick's got great equipment at every racetrack, so that also helps, and would just love to go there and have a good run.
All right, you mentioned the dirt car, being able to run that across the street. I want to get to that just real quick. I know you've got your own series that you put together with Brad Sweet this year, the High Limit Sprint Car Series. How's that going?
It's going good. We had our first race at Lakeside Speedway a couple weeks ago, I guess a week and a half ago. And it was good. It was my first time back in a sprint car since September. The promotion stuff has been a lot of fun. It's been some work. Not as much on me as it probably has been for sure on Brad. He's worked extremely hard on building this series, and I'm super proud of him and JP as well, who's been a big part of it. But it's been fun. The competitors and teams and fans, I think, all really enjoy it. Midweek racing, there's just none of it in sprint car racing for whatever reason. So being able to bring that day of racing to the sport has been good, and I think the viewership is followed along with it too. So we have our next race at 34 Raceway in Iowa this coming Tuesday. So hopefully we can improve on the show and keep making it bigger and better.
Well, I know you've got a lot going on, Kyle. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. We wish you the best of luck in Talladega.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks.
15 wins over the past 3 seasons. Absolutely incredible. And much of that came in 2021 when he won 10 times. That in itself is an amazing achievement. There have been very few drivers in the modern era who've ever been able to tally double-digit wins in the same season. Of course, that's just one of the reasons why Kyle was recently added to NASCAR's list of its 75 greatest drivers. Well, I'm sure it's just a matter of time before this next driver has his name added to that prestigious list. The 2012 champ has 35 career wins and now heads to what is arguably his best track. Joining us now, it's my pleasure to reacquaint with the 2012 champ. That would be Brad Keselowski. Brad, great to talk to you again.
Hey, good to see you, Mike. You're looking good. You got a great background there too. I like it.
I appreciate it. This is my small little trophy case. It's tiny, but compared to some other people like maybe yours. So I try to squeeze it all into the frame.
Well, I'm trying to add more into mine. So hopefully I can get one this week in Talladega.
I got a funny suspicion you got a really good shot at it. That's why we have you here today. We want to talk to you about Talladega. 6 victories at that place. What is it about that place that just makes you shine?
I love it. I love the challenge. It's really a big chess game at 200 miles an hour, so it can be super intimidating, right? The track is always trying to get you in the big one, and in the back of your mind, you're always thinking about this is super dangerous. I'm gonna wreck. And you got to put that behind you and go to work and play the chess game and try to outplay everybody else. And I've been very fortunate to win 6 times. I'm super proud of that. But 6 is great, 7's better. So I'm trying to get number 7 this week.
I think Dale Jr. shares that sentiment. He mentioned something about that at one point about not having quite as many wins as his dad. You're tied with Dale Jr. You're also tied with Jeff Gordon with 6 Talladega victories. Another one that would put you second on the all-time win list there. What would that mean to you?
That'd be great. Catching Dale Sr. at 10 is kind of this, way out there, marker. But if you would have told me at the start of my career I'd win at Talladega 6 times, I would have thought you were crazy. But now I kind of lament on the ones that I feel like I could have won and didn't win. A couple of the second place finishes or third place finishes. You're like, man, if just a few things would have fallen a little bit different. But I'm proud of it. I'm excited to go to the track, and I really like the cars we're bringing. The same car I ran at Daytona and Atlanta, and we led a bunch of laps and almost won both of those races. So I can't wait to see how Sunday unfolds.
So I want to know, like, your bag of tricks, so to speak, for the lack of a better way to say it, when it comes to Talladega. The style of racing at that place has changed quite a bit since your first win there back in 2009. With the new car, can you do the same stuff that has brought you these 6 victories?
Not really. The plays change all the time, at least the ones that work. And you have to really adapt and mold to the cars as they change. And, there's not a single thing about what I did to win my first race that really carries over to what I think it's going to take to win this week. And that's part of it. It's part of the challenge that I embrace and that I love. And you have got to continually evolve as a driver to win in Talladega.
All right, so let's go back to that first win, 2009. It kind of thrust you into the spotlight. Your first victory as a Cup driver, And it came with a little bit of controversy, as I recall. So what did that whole experience do for you in terms of launching your career?
Well, to be able to, at the time I wasn't a full-time Cup driver. So to be able to, at the time, walk in the door at different places and say, I'm a Cup winner and I'm looking for a ride, that was a pretty strong endorsement on your resume. And so I think it opened up opportunities like getting to drive for Roger Penske that didn't exist for me really previously. And I thought that was super exciting. And it ultimately was a launch pad for my career.
It's just amazing what's transpired in the years since, Brad. I mean, you're not only, a multi-time winner, 30 plus victories, a championship, but now you're a car owner.
Yeah, Mike, never would have thought I got this far. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, what's that been like?
Well, it's great. It's got the big highs and the low lows, but it's the dream that I had, and I'm working on it every day. I want to get to where we have both of these teams where they can win races, contend for the championship. We're going the right direction to be able to do that, but we still have work to do. And I'm excited about the progress we've shown, from last year to this year. Right now, we've got both cars in the playoffs. We need to keep our stuff up in the standings to make sure that remains the case, but certainly thrilled with our prospects.
So when you dove into this, you had to close the gap. I mean, it'd been a while since Roush has been to victory lane. You're still working toward that. But what were the areas that took the most attention? Was it engine? Was it aero? What was it for you guys?
Probably just getting the car setups right. The car setups are, always evolving as well, but making sure we had all the right tools to be able to put the cars together the right way.
So how close are you now, you think?
I think we've got cars that can win on the restrictor plate tracks. On the short tracks, we seem to be that kind of back half of the top 10. And on the mile and a half, we're 10th to 15th. We need to find a little bit more on the short tracks to be able to win. And we need to find a little bit more on the mile and a half to be consistent in the top 10. So all that takes is just one, rock to turn over. And we're searching every day. All
right. So enough of the racing stuff. Let's get to the real serious stuff here, shall we? So, I saw recently that Chase Elliott was asked, and I didn't hear this, but I read it, that he was asked who the most intelligent driver in the Cup Series was. And he said, Brad Keselowski. What do you think of that?
Oh, that was pretty nice of him. Super kind. I mean, some days I feel smart. Some days I feel really dumb. I can tell you that. The more I learn, the dumber I feel. But I've had the privilege of working with some great people that make me look a lot smarter than I probably am. And I've just tried to absorb everything I can from them. So it was really kind of him to say, and I certainly appreciate it. And, that and $4.99 will get you a cup of coffee nowadays. But either way, it was very respectful and nice for him to say that.
Would your high school guidance counselor agree?
Probably not. No, probably not. I don't think I won any intelligence awards in school. I won the guy that somehow had the least attendance and passed award. But that's because I wanted to go racing.
Well, whatever it is, you're doing it right. The other thing too, I saw it's your business partner, Jack Roush. It was his birthday this week. What'd you get him?
81st birthday. My goal is to bring him a trophy on Sunday. I think that would probably be the only gift he would enjoy.
I agree. I think that's what he's looking for. So no pressure. Go out and get it.
Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, Brad. Thanks for your time. We wish you the best of luck in Talladega.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. See you soon, Mike.
All right. I know we had some fun with it, but in all honesty, Brad is indeed one of the most intelligent drivers. Aside from some pretty nifty moves on the racetrack, he's also navigated the business side of racing pretty well, too. Of course, Brad will be among the favorites this week. Still, it's a hard race to predict because, as we've seen so many times before, the big one can swallow up so many of the top contenders, and the finishes are incredibly hard to anticipate. Still, there are some drivers to watch, and that includes Ross Chastain, who finished inside the top 5 in both races last year, including capturing a win. Joey Logano has 3 Talladega wins. And what about Denny Hamlin? 2 Talladega wins to go with his 3 Daytona victories. This style of racing is definitely one of his strengths. But the list of contenders is long, and so many drivers could be in the mix on Sunday. Finally, hey, one last note. The original Alabama gang of Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, and Red Farmer, well, they've been named the Grand Marshals for the race this weekend, and quite frankly, I just think that's cool. Well, that's all we have for this week. Thank you for watching Cup Connection.